Yo, 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 what's good? It's your boy, the Rinnegan back at it again with another episode of First We Beats. It's time to lock in, y'all. We back. I'm back from this hiatus where I've returned bearing gifts. And right now, it's First We Beats, baby. So, I need y'all to understand something. I've been tinkering, cooking the fuck up. Cooking. Okay? Cooking. I've been cooking. Chefing it in. Chefing it up. I've been doing some diabolical, blasphemous beat production. Doom metal, bap music. Doom metal, boom, bap music, yo. I don't know what came over me, but doom metal sounds so dope. It's that fuzzy low end, and it's like it's so angry. It's so dangerous. It feels so cavernous. It just I don't think y'all like doom metal's been around for a minute, but I came across it and I didn't realize how deep the rabbit hole goes with doom metal, and uh, and then I'm like, well, doom metal is not that much different than hip hop as far as like vibes, and could it? Should I? And I figured why not combine the both and take the best elements from both genres and put them together. So I've been in the studio locked in cooking up uh, this this new type of genre. I don't even know if anyone else has even attempted it, but this is my attempt at it. And I've got a few other beats that I cooked up that has that doom metal vibe that I will be putting out. But this is the first one that I figured we just put a crack at it. Let's just get it in and because I've been like working on getting better at my guitar playing. Playing electric guitar, and I got this piano behind me, and I love my keyboard. I have as many sounds as anyone could want in the MIDI. You know what I'm saying? You know that I love playing with my Arteria Analog Lab 5. I love playing with Anna synth by Slate Digitals. I like to play with the pianos and the subs, and you know me, dude. I'll sample some shit, but man, I was just like, why not I just you know practice the guitar a lot, get good at it, try to get good at it, and by no means am I good at it. But you know what's crazy is that like it's so different playing the guitar than it is playing the piano. Because at least with the piano, it's so much more forgiving, and with the guitar, it's unforgiving as fuck. It's so unforgiving because if you don't put your fingers on the fret right, if you don't pluck the string right, you don't hold the pick right, you don't hold the guitar right, if you don't use your wrist correctly, you don't tune it correctly, you don't have the right intonation, if you don't got the right strings, if your tuning on the guitar is not made for the strings you have, and just I went down a giant labyrinth rabbit hole of figuring out how like a guitar works. And I like to play the guitar a lot, but never on stream because I'm not about to catch no strays from nobody. so, um, so I figured why not? I just do like a closed session, figure it out, and cook up something. So that's what I did, and right here, that's like the guitars that I laid down right here, and my other guitars right here. And you gotta make sure that when you lay it, it has to be on the right metronome. Like you have to like do it to the metronome, but you gotta do it in a certain way where it's in the pocket. And it's so different. The guitar and piano. And let me just show you the guitar that I used. All right, just give me a second. Right here. I don't know if y'all can see that. You know, this right here. Look at this. Look at this X body shape. You know what I'm saying? Right there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's from but it's by Solar, the guitar. It's it's called the Vinter. Vinter. You know? It's look at this metal looking motherfucking thing. You know? I don't know if y'all can see that, but so I use that guitar to just lay it down. And damn, man, like I love this guitar so much. The Solar Vinter guitar. It's metal as fuck. It plays super well, and it takes batteries to use it, which I thought was just blasphemous. But apparently, what they call Fluence Fishman pickups, and apparently you need D batteries or whatever. So I just thought batteries you just plug and play, but apparently some I figure some guitars you just like. I thought most guitars you could just plug and play that shit, but apparently depending on the pickups you have, you gotta put batteries in the back of them bitches. I was just like, come on, man. But whatever, I'm not really complaining. I love the damn thing, and to each their own. But anyway, just sitting in the studio, just cooking up and trying to come up with a riff, and my mind was just, oh, how am I gonna do this? And I was like out of practice and shit, and so all you guitar wizards out there, do not fucking bite my head off, But I'm gonna play what I have done so far as like how the beat goes. But man, it's so much more different than playing, MIDI keyboard and shit. So I'm gonna so as you can see, uh, not too bad, right? Not a bad session. Not too many tracks, you know. So I wanted to combine the best parts of Doom and combine the best parts of hip hop. And like I said, this is like a lab experiment. Or if I haven't said it, I'm saying it now. This is like an experiment. And if it knocks, it knocks. If it rocks, it rocks. But tell me if it's a yay or a nay in the comments section. And also, if you don't see me reaching out to you in the live chat, I don't got my other I don't have the other monitor on me right now, so don't think I'm ignoring you at all, please. I can't see it. Can't see the chat right now. I still got to figure out a way to pull the chat up on the, figure that out. But let me see. Hold on one sec. Let me see if I can pull it up. I had let's see. See if I can pull it. See if I can pop out chat. There we go. Boom. Pop out the chat. There we go. I wish it could like stay right there in the corner or whatnot, but I'll check on it from time to time, periodically and stuff. But anyway, let's just get to it. All right, so I've titled this "In Comes the Reaper of Death." Doesn't that sound epic as fuck, y'all? All right, I'm gonna stop talking. So this is what I've got so far. All right, let's roll this. Yeah, that shit sounds sick, right? Come on. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat if you're feeling it. You know. But that's epic, right? It's epic. It's got some hip hop elements in there, and it's got some doom metal elements in there. In my personal opinion, I feel like I leaned a little more into the doom ish, and more so than the hip hop. But I've got other ones that's kind of like it's trying to find. I've been trying to find the right balance and everything, and I'm hoping that with at least the drum pattern has somewhat of a hip hop vibe to it. I wanted to kind of like combine like a hip hop pattern with like doom metal drums. Like I wanted to use like real like you would hear in a doom metal song those types of drums, but in a hip hop pattern. But I mean, I could have used straight hip hop drum samples and shit and chopped them up and kind of just did my thing with them. But like I said, it's a straight up experiment, and so we're gonna mix this down and shit. Like I wanted to just see how it all turned out. So then I started thinking like I dove in, like what about guitar pedals? And I don't own none of them shits, but I wanted to talk to y'all about guitar pedals and whatnot. And apparently in Doom, you know, they've got a lot of cavernous, super delays, super reverby, and they're just super like like I think it's called Earthquaker Devices. That's the name of the company, and they have these really cool uh, pedals that make your guitar sound so cavernous and large and just fucking delays for days. And I think pull it up. Da, 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 da. Guitar presets. Avalanche. I think I have this delay that I saw like basically from Earthquaker Devices and shit. If I were to pull it up, ba, 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 Earthquaker Averneath, dude. Averneath. This shit. I loved this fucking pedal, dude. I think right now it's like what $300. I know that says crowns and shit. I'm up in Sweden and whatnot, but like so like that's 2,699 crowns. So if you were to convert it into U.S. currency, that would be about what $300 or so. Just generally around there, about 300 bucks. Let's see. They got the oh 200 pounds USA. Yeah, it's about 200, nearly almost 300 bucks. 257 bucks, $260 and whatnot. And look, it's got link, diffuse, dampen, reflect, drag, and mix and shit, right? And it's a cool like reverb style plugin. And what else does it do? Yeah, I think it's like reverb. I think it's mostly a reverb. Let's see what it says. It's a reverb to the next dimension. Yeah, there we go. And then Earthquaker Devices are super dope. I really like them all. They've got a ton of cool shit. So I wanted to come up with some type of like recreate a pedal like those types of pedals, but through plugins. And so if I were to pull it up, um, so I've got these this like I got them all on my sends. So check it out. So I'm using Stellar Echo by Slate. I'm using Lustrous Plate by Slate. These are my two reverbs right here. So like Verb Suite Classics, Lustrous Plates, and then for the delays, I'm using Stellar Echo. Now, that is what I'm using for my reverb slash delay. Alright? So right here, right here, let me move these over here. So check it out. So it's like, I call it The send's called guitar avalanche, and then my guitar verb 1 and guitar verb 2. Okay, I've got them pretty high up, and the master, the audio sent to the master. Normally I would send them to like my bus, my trim bus, but for right now, I want the maximum effect, and so right here, so stellar echo, 116, play, echo, decay, hunted, everything. You kind of just see. You could pause it and kind of just look at it. But if you got the stellar echo, this is a really cool delay for guitars and whatnot. You can see here just how I've done everything. So I'm gonna solo some of the guitars. So let's go to the chorus section and chorus section guitar. So check this out. So alright, and I'll play this other guitar section right here. It's sick as fuck. It creates that space and it creates that vibe. So if I were to combine, if I were to just play them all together now. All the way at 100. One more time. So I'm using the stellar echo, all right? So you can pause this part, if you've got it, you can copy, the setting. But I like this on guitar, and you route it to the send and everything. And 16th, put it on the head 1, input 0, output 0. You can mess with these if you want, up to taste, kind of just how you want your vibe. Repeat rate is at times 1, and then the feedback 55, echo at 100. Echo isolators, this is your low end roll off, your high end roll off, and then I just took the bass completely out of it and I just kept the treble boosted all the way. Echo width all the way, sync, ping pong, and the wild flutters at 50, and then I got it on noise, and you know all the way. So, and then for the lustrous plates, look at this. Okay, pre-delay is at 13 milliseconds, and width 7.5, depth 7.8, rate 0.7. Gotta have the wet all the way at 100, especially when you're using sends. You want to just put everything at 100 as far as the dry and wet situation. And then I activated the equalization effects on this type of reverb, and you can see here how I have everything, and you just to capture that cavernous, just big giant feeling, because when you do a chorus section of something like this, you really want those notes that ring out long and lengthy. And doom metal is not like super shreddy, you know, like other types of subgenres of the metal genre. It's just, from what I've noticed, it's a lot of just, you know, you just pluck the zero, you pluck that heavy string, and then you just play long notes, I guess, you know. And then this verb here, I'm using swept reverb. It's called Breathing Canyon. I like that. I wanted it to sound like you're a wizard inside the mines of Moria, you know, and you're facing in front of Morgoth, and he's just staring you down, ready to take you into the bowels of hell, you know. And you know you've got fucking Gandalf right there with his staff, and he's just going, "You shall not pass," and bam, you know, into the fucking fires you go. But anyway, I want it to sound dope, and so that's just, I wanted that pedal vibe, because like, you know, pedals are expensive, you know, and they're all like hundreds of dollars. I know there's cheap options, you know, like especially for fuzz pedals. But what company? I can't think of the name of the company off the top of my head right now, but it'll pop in my head later. But there are cheaper options. Um, but I just felt like, well, I've got a bunch of effects, so like, think about it like this, you know. I've got Kilohertz, and Kilohertz has a whole bunch of options, especially multipass. I've got options, so use what you have to try to recreate. So my advice is, like, if there's like a pedal sound you like, look at the functions of those pedals. Look up YouTube videos and how they use those pedals, and then find plugins that you already have to try to mimic or expand on those pedal sounds. It may not be the same 100%, but there's some real merit uh to just, you know, recreating certain sounds and pedal sounds to create those guitar tones and those guitar vibes. And just just don't freak out, you know. Some people, you know, don't got the loot to spend $400, $500 on a fucking guitar pedal they may or may never ever use. But what you do have is a list of plugins that you either use or you don't use. You may have a bunch of plugins you don't use, and you might find something in that list that works with what you're trying to do. So don't lose hope, don't give up, you know. It's just try things out. You have to be like a little bit of a, you have to really put your engineering cap on, your beat making, you know, music engineering cap on, and your production hat, and as well as your musician hat on, and just play with it, mess around with it. And so that's what I did. So I just spent some time figuring it out. So, and then check this out, dude. I'm gonna play the intro real quick. Okay, so I have a challenge for all you listeners, those tuning in. I have a challenge for you. All right, you see this right here? I'm gonna solo this. Tell me, tell me what you think that sound is and how I made it. If you can tell me how I made this sound right here, I will make you a beat. You know what I'm saying? I'll make you a beat, or if you got a session you want me to mix down, I'll mix it down for you. If you can tell me how I made this shit, I'll hook it up. You know what I'm saying? Or if not, you don't want that, and you just want brownie points, and you want to be you want bragging rights, fucking offers on the table if you want or not. But if you want the bragging rights, tell me how I made this sound. You know? And so, yeah. All right. You can tell me how I made it. You can tell me. Tell me how I made it. It's a, it says right here on the right hand side, it's a string. All right. But that's the only hint you're getting. It's the only fucking hint you're getting. All right. You can tell me how I made it. I will hook it up, or you can have bragging rights. Both doesn't matter. So the only hint I'm gonna tell you, cause like, look, it's not like I could cover it up. It's called string. You can send me a video of showing me how I made it. I'll hook it up. All right, yo. So this right here is dope. It took, like I said, when it comes to making beats and shit, you gotta be a producer, engineer, and a beat maker, and just you gotta be really artsy with it. But it sounds sick as fuck. But that reminds me, it's a little bit low. There's like a little bit of like lowish issue, muddiness. I'm gonna fix that real quick. See the difference? I'll disable it. So I'll solo this too. Alright, cool. So let's get to it. We jamming out, we jamming. But let's get to it. Let's get to it. So let's start with these drums. It's time to start getting into the mix session, and let's get to it. So we got these drums right here. I got some drum samples, chop them up, put a pattern together, call it a day. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna Control J this, boom, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take each and every single one. It's gonna have its own drums, its own snare. You'll see what I'm talking about. So here we go. So I'm gonna label this kick. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these notes and I'm just gonna press 0, and that just grays them out. And then I'm gonna do the same thing here. Gray them out. So now it's just the kick. Alright. See that? Boom. Just the kick. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. Or we're gonna do this snare. Alright. So I'm gonna gray these out, and then I'm just gonna activate only the snares. And then I think I have a snare up here too. Boom. There we go. And then hat. Alright, cool. And that is just the snares right there. I'm gonna do the same thing again. We're gonna call this cymbals. Gray them out, and then I'm just gonna activate the cymbal. There's that. And then, alright. Probably just call that hat actually. And then I'm gonna do the next one, cymbal. Big cymbal crash. And then we're gonna go to the crash. Boom. Right there. Let's go. Alright, so we've got kick, snare, hat, and then we got the cymbal crash. Boom, boom. And then here, we're just gonna call this drums. Fucking thump. Alright. And then let me just put that away. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this down. Okay. What I just did is I'm just messing with the velocity. I wanted the velocity to be a little to match the heaviness of that intro, because I felt like the drums were a little bit heavier in velocity in the intro, but as compared to, you know, the rest of the song. So sometimes you just gotta, you know, try to make sure you're consistent as possible. All right, so we have that, and then let's see here with the what about the snares? Snare. Do the same right here. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. No, this is where the drums come in. I'm just gonna do some parallel business. So let's do FG stress. Let's see if we can really nuke it. I like this nuke situation. Let's get a tremor here. Only needs to go for a little. Want those drums to just crash. See how difference? See the difference in bypass mode? I got like a sub oscillator. It's like a sub oscillator for the bass. You know, like I said, take elements of hip hop, combine it with the doom, and just play around with it, and So let's go on with the here. So like we did a little something here with this. Let's see if we can add a little bit more of the a little bit of. 25. So let's see the difference when I just bypass it. Sick, right? Okay, we're gonna move on. And that's just the drum, you know, this one right here. And you just want to, you don't want it so prevalent. You know what I'm saying? You kind of want it like tucked under because, you know, the other elements are the main attraction. So you just want to, because it gives a little bit more weight to the drums, in my opinion. It just gives a little, it just does. And so you keep it relatively low and then you adjust the taste. All right, so this is what I'm going to do now. All right. So drum bus, I'm going to create another bus called Smasher. All right. And I'm going to take this Smasher bus to the drums, and then the drums go straight to the trim. All right. And these are going to go straight to the Smasher. And then let's do this. All right. So we have a cymbal, and then crash bus. And so like I'll route the tracks, the actual tracks to these buses, and then I can put special, you know, herbs and spices on these buses. Maximum control is what we're doing. We want to be able to control everything, you know. And you get more weight, you get more breathability, let things fly a little, you know. It gives you a little bit more room to operate and you're not pulling your hair out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this audio 2, it's going to go straight to the Smasher. The kick, same thing. The snare, I'm going to take it to the snare bus. The hat will go to the cymbal bus, and then the crash will go to the crash bus. The fills, the drum fills, are going to go straight to the Smasher. And you know what? This is what I'm going to do. In fact, drum fills bus. Just you know, sometimes you need more control. So I'm gonna do that. Drum fill bus. All right. Trust me, drum fills can suck up a whole frequency spectrum, and that little extra control, it just gives you peace of mind. You know, I'm working in Ableton Live right now, and I love Ableton Live because I can do shit like this. And I'm using Live 9. I'm sure there's Live 12 or Live 13 by now, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, it works for me. You know, why upgrade? You know, and believe me, I have looked into it, and it's just not happening. So, anyway, fills, drum fill bus, sub bass. I'm gonna move this to the bass bus. Sub bass 1, sub bass 2. One of them is just normal low end sub. The other one's got a bit more distortion on it. Uh, let's see. Yeah. And then the guitars. We're going to have to create a guitar. I'm going to call this guitar bus. And then guitar. Move that over to guitar bus. Guitar. Oh. Guitar. Boom. And then we're going to want Atmos bus, which is atmosphere for short. Atmos bus. So what do we have? What? Strings, pads. Strings and pads left. Okay. Same thing. Strings, bus, pad, bus. Alright, I think we've got it. I think we've got it all. And so now we just route. Strings go here. Pad will go here. Atmos go here. Alright. whole volume of everything is going to change just a little bit. Alright, trim. What happened? Oh, that's right. I can't believe I just laughed like that. All these are unactivated. Hilarious. Okay, so let's get to it. For a second there, I was like, yo, what the fuck did I just do? But look, they're deactivated. These little squares over here where my cursor is, they're all unactivated. Look, these are activated. Alright. Let's get to the kick now. Let's make so this kick is heavy. We're using this virtual channel. And then let's get a trim knob here so we can kind of see where we're, if we're peaking or not. Like that. Still peaking. God damn. Alright, let's see what the transient shaper does. Let's bypass it. Without it. Okay. Let's take away the opto. There's some heaviness in there. Let's try with not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. We'll keep it for now. You know, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling these vibes. All right. All right. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. So let's move on. Let's move on to the snare. Let's bring in the guitar. Not that one. Wrong one. Guitar 2, I believe. Let's see what happens when I add a little bit of that, and then we'll do that, and then we will take this out. We'll just do heavy fill, and then just bring it in there. So, the sub bass. I'm liking where it's at, but it's time to just do a little bit of love. So, we're gonna go here, and I'm gonna put up. Let's see. Sub bass needs a little bit of side chain compression. Boom. And we just want to like take things down the line of importance. You know, for me, it's drums, bass, and then everything else. Foundations important. You also want to think about like what's important to you, you know, in your mix. Like, what do you want the center to be attention? So you want the guitars, at least for this, you want the drums, bass, and guitars. That's important, and everything else is complementary. And then just finding the right balance and making sure that you're not doing too much and whatnot. And so here we go. Let's keep working. I like this song, man. I like this beat. Yeah. All right, so let's. All right, so it's got 80 hertz. Let's see what it does. We may have to tinker with it. So here's the side chain. So it's on this bass bus right here. So I've got the subs routed to this track right here. So think of it like a train car. So the sub is on one car, then it's routed to the next train car, which is the bass bus. That is where it's going, and then the bass bus connected to the subs. It's going to be routed to my trim bus, which is my personal master bus. And then that master bus will go straight to the main one, which is right here in blue. You know what I'm saying? So right here, audio 2 is to the trim. So I'll be able to mess with the entire mix on that trim bus. If you don't know what that is, now you know. So audio from, drum, post to pre. Alright. So whenever the fucking drums hit, the bass will get ducked a little. And then you gotta play the balancing act and try to find the right balance. You can have a really pumpy effect, or you can have a more mellowed effect. We just gotta mess with this release knob right here. Alright, so let's just play it, see what happens. We may need to mess with this chain here, so we'll find out in a second. So I got the release knob. It's at 129 milliseconds. Let's just play around with it. I got it at 129 as the bass, as where you could have it if you wanted. But let's push it up and see what happens. That's really getting squashed. like it right here at 229 milliseconds. About 100 milliseconds more than when I had it originally. It's kind of cool. All right, so I got it at 315 right here. 315 point whatever one, 3 to 1 whatever ratio. I got the knee at 6. Threshold is minus 28. The output's about 2 decibels. Dry and wet's 100. And so basically, I've got your normal regular compressor that comes with Ableton, and it's got this sidechain function, and it's great. I love it, and it's just whenever the bass comes in or whenever the drums comes in, the bass just gets a little bit of a duck, because you have to ask yourself, what do you want more of? Do you want the drums to be more, or do you want the bass to be more, and then also the guitar? So it's a nice high wire balancing act that you've got to figure it out. You have to ask yourself what's the most important to you in whatever genre you're working in, And so for me, I personally feel like drums is everything. Get the drums smashing and cracking, and then get the bass big, boisterous, but controlled. Not too muddy, not too much build up in the low. Just let it breathe. You gotta let the bass breathe, but you also want to feel it. And then everything else, complementary, and sky's the limit for the rest of the stuff that you think is important. So I would think that, since this is a doom metal track, with some boom bap feels to it, guitar, gotta make sure the guitars are on point. So the bass sounds pretty good. Let's play from the top. Bring the crash down just 1 decibel. Alright, so these guitars. So I'm using a amp modeling plugin called THU Overloud, which is a cool little amp sim. It comes with the Slate Digital bundle. And I love it. I think it's great. What the fuck? Come on. Why? I can't. What? God damn it. Where is the motherfucking cancel? God damn it. There's just like, that's annoying. That's annoying. There's supposed to be this, where I can adjust the window, but whatever. Um, so anyway, so this is what I'm using, an amp sim model. I've got a gate expander, and then the fuzz race, and then the 7 band EQ pedal in the beginning, and then I've got this modern overloud 150 head. Um, let's see, what is it? Is there like something? I don't know if there's like a let's see, amp. Let's see if there's like some information on it. Modern, what is it? It's channel 3. So it's basically your modeled Mesa Boogie dual rectifier. And then let's go a little bit deeper under the hood. So I've got it on vintage, drive, bass, mid, treble, presence, volume, level, and then you've got the activation knob here. That sounds good like that. I like it on vintage. And then I've got this right here. This is pretty cool. This is a super cabinet. So I've got it. These are the speakers that I have on it. So it's the Jensen Silverbird. I've got the C14 mic on it, and then this one. It's an open back SN7 whatever, fuck cabbage, da 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 da. Here we go. Boom. And then they've all got the Silverbird slate Silverbird vibe in here, huh? 430 cone edge. Okay. Alright. So this is what I pretty much got, you know. And so it's just kind of, it sounds dope. At least I think it does. This is what it sounds like without it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, night and day. And, yeah, so that's cool. And then, same thing with this one. So this was a tricky thing to record, man. I basically had to play the guitar exactly the way I played the first one that's up here and highlighted, and then I just had to like try to play it as much, exactly. And that's crazy because I had recorded this top part like 3 or 4 days before I recorded it. This second part here, and you can see it's a little chopped because I had to figure out how I played it originally on the guitar. It's a lot different than playing on piano, and so it was just kind of throwing me off. Like, fuck, dude, this is crazy. Always practice your guitar, guys and gals. Practice every day. Get that callus on those fingers built up. Ugh. But it's nice learning another instrument, teaching myself, another instrument, because it gives you newfound appreciation to the stuff you've already learned. And I learned how to play the piano and taught myself how to do that, and just, man, playing by ear. And that's pretty much how I'm approaching with this guitar situation, is just playing by ear and then watching occasional videos here and there. That's how I did it with the piano. And then just practice, practice, play all the time, and try to just play as much as you can, and you'll get better eventually. And then just learning different things, but, you know, nowhere near where I want to be as far as skill level, but that's fine, The magic of working in the DAW and editing and messing around with it, but I find appreciation, learning. So here we go. So I've got this stereo effect because, you layer it, kind of like you layer a vocal, you know. All right, so I've got this New York tube collection, and I've already got this kind of tuned in how I want it with the guitars. I'm not going to really mess with them because I had to get the tone. I wanted to get the tone first before I started playing it. So when I started working on riffs, I wanted to make sure I had the right tone. So that's why I have this already made. And so I just want to show you what I have here. So I've got this New York virtual tube collection. So I've got the saturation here, it's a little bit, and this electric guitar preset, natural, whatever, and I just tinkered with it to fit my needs. And then of course here, heavy guitar preset, played with it to feature my needs. And then I've got this revival plugin here. This just adds shining, shimmering thickness, which is great. And then of course a trimmer knob to make sure that I'm not peaking and I can control what I want to control. And then of course you already know the amp modeling that I have here, which is great. So but you would think, like, I don't really have a lot of like fuzzes and stuff, but what's really cool is if you don't got the money to buy a fuzz, or you don't even have a tube amp simulator, you could get yourself, I mean, if you have it, there's this plugin called Faturator. I'm pretty sure you can get the standalone version. It's by Kilohertz. This Faturator here has plenty of fuzz and drive you would ever need to get your guitar super nasty, fuzzy. It just provides the fuzziness, and just distortion level greatness. I think this is a highly important must-have in the studio when you want to add fuzz and drive to basses and guitars, or whatever source you want. This thing is amazing, and it's a clutch plugin for guitars, especially for guitars if you don't have a pedal or something to work with. A Faturator, you can just go out and get the standalone version, and you'll be fine. You can rock with that. All right, so let's move on. All right, so we've got what? We've got kick. We've done the drums, kick, snare, cymbals, heavy fills. We've got the bass done. So the guitars are good. We've got our guitars where we want them. And then let's move on to the chorus section and see what we can do to make the chorus stand out a little bit more. So let's loop this a little bit. comb filter's kind of cool, but I don't know if I want that. It has a cool sound and a cool vibe, but I felt like it's kind of taking. I think it's a little distracting, a little. Meh. Let's try. Let's. You know what? Let's try a multi-pass. See what's up. So this is like an atmosphere. Atmosphere. Let's see what we have for atmosphere. Atmos movement, psychedelic effects. No way. What the fuck was that, dude? Alright. So let's just play with all these little knobs. Bring it all down. Bring it all down. Alright, let's do one knob at a time and see if it works. If it don't work, we can just throw it out. I think that's a bit weird. I don't know if I like that. That's a lot. That's like too busy. Let's try this one. It says "Get away with me." All right, let's see. All right, check on the chat real quick. Hey, what's good? All right. Meh, meh. Let's try something else. That doesn't fly with me. I don't know if I like that. Let's try something. Let's see. Atmosphere. Let's try space. Space reverser. I like playing around. I like playing around with shit like this because you never know. You know. Oh look, there's a facturator in here. Yeah, but not for this. That sound kind of cool though, but not for this. Whoops, wrong one. That could work. We good. This is strings. What kind of shit is this? Strings. Alright. Let's hear what it sounds like here all together. Okay. Let's hear the outro. There we go. I kind of like that. Alright, let's see what happens when we... I guess not. Let me, Okay, so this is the problem. Alright, so... I've got these synths. And so since they're to the master bus, that extraness, when it comes off, it kind of stays. But let's see what happens when we set it to the trim. Alright. Alright, so let's try this here. Let's see what happens when we put it to the master one more time. It stays, you know. Alright, let's try it with the trim one more time. Okay, I do have an idea. So... Did that even do anything? Come on now. Let's just put it over here. See if it does anything. If it doesn't do anything, maybe I'm retarded. Let's try. You didn't do shit. That's fucking annoying. I wanted to have a little fade out while keeping the vibe, but I guess, you know. It is what it is. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but at least I know that's not gonna work, you know. But let's play from the top real quick. So because normally I put them on trim. But I don't know if I like that sound. So I'm gonna keep it like this. Fuck it. I like that. I like the way that sounds to me. This sounds so much better. So I'm gonna keep it to the master. Fuck it. I might have to lower the crash again. 1 more dB. See how that goes. Okay. Alright, so let's do some more with the drums. Alright. The drums already sound pretty good, you know. This may not even be necessary, but let's add my secret sauce to them. Now it's gonna make the drums sound massive, way more massive than they need to be. So I gotta be really careful that I don't fuck this up. All right. So listen. So this is my secret sauce on drums. All right. So I've got this virtual channel. I've got this London virtual tube collection, and I got, you know, this is the London version, and then I've got this API style EQ, and of course I got the trimmer, right? So this is normally the set it and forget it settings. I usually just set it, forget it. Sometimes I gotta mess with it, sometimes I don't. So I just set it and forget it. Now the bread and butter of the sauce is here. You know, the Shep's Omni channel that I love so much. This is gonna give your drums all the ass that you want. That BBL on them drums, this is the BBL. Alright? This is the BBL plugin for your drums. And this right here is also more like a set it and forget it type of situation because I have it. So usually I just put it on there, boom, and then make any adjustments if I needs to. But since I know what I'm getting with this, I can normally set it and forget it. But like, look, y'all. So we got odd, even, and heavy. So how much ass do you want on that ass? And so we got an even ass. So this is like a 1-2 punch. Now the heavy is an uppercut, and that hurts. It's an uppercut and a rib shot, or a kidney shot, or a liver shot. But it's heavy. And then the odd is normal. So normal ass. But even's good, heavy's good, odd is good. So it just comes down to how much ass you want. And then the stomp situation, 2 dB, 4 dB, that's how much volume of your ass you want. You know what I'm saying, on them drums. And so I got it on 4 dB. So before I even think about playing this, we're going to protect our ears, y'all. So I'm going to... So I've got everything routed to this drum bus. Boom. Okay, making sure. I'm just want to double check. Alright, so let's go to these drums here. And, you know, let's fucking look. Okay, I'm a little scared. this shit is heavy. This shit is heavy, 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 heavy. All right, so what I'm gonna do now? So I already know. It's we're. I'm just gonna play it. So I'm just bring this down just a little. I'm just gonna bring it down here, and we're gonna work our way up. All right, so we're at minus 6.3. I'm gonna bring it down to here to 24. All right, so I've got every single one of these selected. All right, so drums, kick, snare, hat, the crash, and the fills. Everything's selected, so they move as one. So I'm gonna make them move as one, like that. One increment at a time. All right, let's play this bitch. Alright. Let's see how it sounds like without it. Okay, we're gonna bypass that bitch, but the drum's hitting. This drum's knocking on the door, man. So alright, bypass. I'm bypassing it right now, so we can't just see the vibes and shit. Alright, so. Night and day difference. Alright. Let's see what the heavy sounds like. Alright. I like that. So we got that. So we're just gonna leave it like that. So the drums on heavy, maximum mass, and then let's go with the smasher. Now, normally I do the smasher first, then the drum, the other shit, but I was so excited I just wanted to hear it. And then let's do where we at? Kilohertz, come on now. Alright, so the smasher, what does this function? What does this do? Crispiness. More ass. More grittiness. You know, this is like asphalt, you know? Asphalt for your drums. Asphalt, Destructo. Multi-band saturation and distortion. Top tier, top of the line goodness. This right here is gonna make sure your drums is paved to perfection. Alright. Low end, Destruct. The mix knob. So how much I want this to affect the drums. The snares maybe a bit too much. Okay. sidechain. Kind of rein the instruments in. want to get this minus 6 decibels as close as you can get it. Man, those drums are nasty. Okay. I love it, man. I love it. It's coming together quite nicely. Um, damn, dude. So we've got it around -6. I'm loving how it's all really just it's coming together the way that like it's heavy, yo. It's like heavy, and let me know in the chat or the comment section if you're seeing this after the live stream. If how you feeling about this? You know, if I'm in the right direction, or if there's something in there that's missing, or if you want something more. It's just I'm open to all and any suggestions. You know, uh, I'm not really I don't really trip about that, but I'm feeling the vibes here. What you call it? It's it's definitely different. You know, I like it, man. I worked hard on this, and it's it's a pain in the ass to try to get the guitars to like be laid down right. You know, but if you're watching after the live stream, don't trip. I'm not tripping about it at all. I'm just happy I'm able to get back in the studio and start doing live streams again. And I'm trying to do this thing full time and try to get back to it regularly and everything. And it's just hard, you know. Life can just take your plans away from you. So it's whatever, dog. But I'm happy. I get to do this, and and I'm enjoying myself. I appreciate every second I get to be in here and work. You know, so this is my piece. This is where I like to be, and I'm happy, man. You know, it's just I worked hard on this bitch. I like to do stuff like this. This is fun. It's a new genre, and it's an experiment. You know, it's just messing around, seeing what I can do, and being able to mix this down finally. Like really try to mix it down and get it going is dope. I want to see what happens when I get into the mastering version of this and try to master it as far as like bouncing it down, put it in the mastering, and try to master this from scratch and just build that. I'm gonna probably do a whole episode on that and just try to master this track and everything. I'm pretty sure. How long has this fucking episode been going? Damn. Uh, let's see. Come on. What the hell? It's like I don't even know how long this shit's been going on. About 2 hours. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. But at any rate, I'm hoping you guys, like this, digging this, and whether you're here for the vibes or you want to learn something new or you're just interested in what I'm doing, regardless, it's all love, and I'm happy that you're even here and you're even coming across this channel. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, help support the channel. I'm trying to build this thing all the way up and make this thing a full-time thing. And I'm gonna put new episodes out as much as I can and as fast as I can. And the more the more you guys come and stream and stuff, that helps. Anything helps, and I'm grateful for all of it. Even if it's just me and this bitch, it's fine, you know. But thank you so much for tuning in to First Week Beats. I hope y'all enjoyed this. If there's any questions, any concerns, anything that you want to know, just hit me up. I'm always here. And till next time, y'all, I'm your host, the Rinnegan. See y'all soon. And I will make an announcement on my channel for all updates on new episodes. And normally I announce the day of. So just keep your ear to the ground, you know, and you'll see a post pop up. It's probably me announcing that I'm going live. So I'll see y'all next time, and please give this a like, comment, and yeah, I'm out. Doses.